Howdy, 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 howdy. You guys thought I wasn't going to be here. You thought it was just going to be a live stream of Kiev. But that's not what it is. I'm here and I'm ready now to talk. I don't have my ears on. I guess I better put them on in case there starts being explosions. Definitely there is more movement than what we saw last night. So that's kind of interesting. These look like they're cars. I saw some heavy machinery driving through earlier. All right. So, hi there, Tiffany. How are you? Hey, Paul. Welcome. You are number one, Paul Boone. All right. So, I got a couple of things I wanted to share. I am gonna go. I'll be live later on this evening talking about Suzanne Morphew. But for right now, I am talking about what is happening in the Ukraine. So I think that Reuters, the reputable news organizations, they have been surprised, I think, by the Ukraine's ability to stand up to Russia. And here's what they're not saying in all the articles: they're holding the Russians. The Russian troops have not really been able to advance since yesterday morning Kiev time. However, you have to remember that Putin has got his force that he originally, all his troops that he moved to the border in the months leading up to this. Of those troops that were targeted for the Ukraine invasion, he's only mobilized a third of them. There's only a third of them that are actually in the country. The rest of them are on the border, and they're just hanging out waiting until it's their turn. While you've got the Ukraine army and the Ukrainian citizens who they're tired. There are no reinforcements coming. And because the Russian president of the Security Council last night or yesterday, he vetoed, the historic resolution that would say that, yes, the United Nations is going to work together and send in troops to protect at least the member states and possibly more for Ukraine. But it was a moot point, even though it was quite historical, never happened before. It was killed by the Russian president. It was horrible to watch, and he's defiant. He's calling Putin and the so-called invasion. He doesn't call it an invasion. He calls them peacekeepers, that they're there to stop the atrocities of Zelenskyy, the Ukrainian president. He calls them neo-Nazis. So he's painting Russia in a light of, we're the saviors, we're the cavalry. So it's very complicated. It's very, very complicated. Who is going to stand up and say, you know what, I'm really the POS that is an expansionist war hawk. An expansionist war hawk who is trying to destroy Ukraine. No country wants to say that. They're always gonna paint themselves in a light of we're the good guys, right? Don't be mad at us. We're not committing war crimes. We're trying to stop war crimes. That intersection is very loud. Let me see if I can put a stop to that. That's kind of crazy how loud that is. Okay, that's a lot better. Okay, we can still hear if there's anything happening. Okay, so the West and the journalists, I believe they're based on all the different articles that I've read today and whatnot. Good Lord, what is happening? Where did that come from? Let me silence that and see if I get it. I don't have anything else open that could make that loud of a noise. Okay. So just very low. Okay. So they're surprised Ukraine has done as well as they have. They're holding the line. Russia has not advanced over what they were able to accomplish Friday and into early Saturday morning. They basically now have been held. And the original projection on Thursday was that Putin would have control of Kiev within 96 hours. So one must wonder if the Russian soldiers have stopped as they're being switched out for fresh, well-rested soldiers. That's what I am thinking is probably happening. Okay. The Ukraine is claiming that more than 3,500 Russian troops have been killed or injured. They have lost airplanes, fighter jets. They have lost many tanks, many personnel carriers. So this is, Putin did this with knowledge that it would come at a cost for him. So that does kind of heighten the concern about what his goal is, that he's willing to chance his the best of his special forces. He's willing to put their lives on the line. He's willing to put his expensive jets and helicopters on the line. It's very interesting. Now, one of the things that I saw, let me change the view here. I'm going to share this because it's a little bit ominous looking, in my opinion. Hold on. Share. Okay. Yeah, so this is rather, these are Russian troops that are in Chechnya. And you can see them as far back as the eye will go, right? And it's uncomfortable. It feels, scary. Now, the article that I want to talk about is one that makes the case. Oops, I did the wrong thing. Sorry about that. I can't walk and chew gum at the same time. I need my link. There we go. Okay. The article makes the assertion that they have uncovered information, documents that suggest that Putin is preparing for a long war. Now, once you get down into the article, they get a little bit more doomsday-ish kind of, because they say, well, he's either preparing for a long war or he's planning a major medical event for the Ukrainian soldiers. That's a quote. Okay, so they're saying, oh, it must be going to be a long war, according to Putin, or Russia is, quotation marks, Russia is preparing for a major medical event for the Ukrainian soldiers. We know that they brought with them these mobile crematoriums, and people have had discussions about the goal, what would be the point of bringing these crematoriums. Some people, and it's really all about what your point of view is, right? And so some people have said, well, he's trying to hide how many Russian soldiers were killed so that he can do his propaganda and say, oh, we've had, a small loss of life and that kind of thing. The other side has said, no. He's trying to hide the number of Ukrainian people that were killed. Again, propaganda. So they can say, no, we didn't target any civilians. There were no civilians that were harmed. We don't know why he did it. We don't know why he has them. The journalists don't know. I haven't read anything from any of the journalists that has any credibility in my eyes. Well, not credibility, but that just doesn't seem logical or rational. But what is confirmed is that they have in fact brought in these crematoriums, that these small mobile, and talked about how many bodies that it can incinerate in 6 hours time. I mean, it's uncomfortable. It's a kind of a scary scary thought. So the leaked documents are showing that they're searching out civilian doctors, nurses, medics from across Russia, and they're drafting those medical professionals into the Russian military. These documents were signed by the Russian Deputy Health Minister Plutnitsky. He has been reaching out to hospitals across Russia saying, to be promptly involved in activity. I'm sorry, that they are drafting these medical professionals, and they're doing everybody, doctors, nurses, paramedics, to be promptly involved in activities aimed at saving lives and preserving the health of people in Russia. They go on to say that the documents indicate, or that this indicates, that Russia is anticipating a massive medical emergency and will be forced to deploy doctors and medics from across the country. Let me pull up the document. Hold on. It's a little bit hard to see. So it's got, obviously it's in Russian, so I can't read it. But what I notice is that it gives the introduction, what this order is, what it is that they're doing, and what performance they're looking for. If you go to the second page of the document, you can see that it's specialty areas, right? You can see where there's like, they're asking for surgeons. I wish we had somebody that could read Russian. So anyway, it is very interesting, the steps that are being taken by Russia today at this point, right? And my thought was, did they believe they were just gonna, sashay into the Ukraine and take what they wanted? Were they that misinformed about the capabilities in the Ukraine? I can't believe that would be true. That would be really, that would be very, well, you know what to me, you know what it would mean? It would mean that Putin is not the same Putin. It would mean that he got caught with his pants down, right? Here's the order, but it's in Russian, so you can't read it. The order requests that medical institutions send a list of medical specialists and their details to the Russian health ministry to deploy when needed. Medics that they're looking for include trauma, heart, maxillofacial, and pediatric surgeons. So trauma surgeon, heart surgeon, maxillofacial, pediatric, anesthetist, radiologist, and operating room nurses, and then infectious disease specialist. Document states these people would be paid by the Federal Center of Medical Disasters. And I'm going to guess they don't pay surgeons wages. You know what I mean? Ukrainian military official told ITV that the document shows Russians did not expect to face such a level of resistance and losses. And they are far from achieving their goal, which was to have a quick surprise attack. They also leaked a document that showed Putin intends to go until the end, despite huge losses of personnel. It's kind of crazy, isn't it? An intelligence update by the UK Ministry of Defense stated that the Russian casualties are heavy and greater than anticipated or acknowledged by the Kremlin. When you first read that, you think, BS, that's more the whole propaganda. But then when you go over to the Western media and you see where, Zelenskyy goes on television, or he does an address yesterday with EU leaders, and he says to them, we're giving you an update, and this is what's going on, and this is probably going to be the last time you see me alive, right? So they're fighting, they're dug in, and he's like, I don't know when it's going to last. And they managed to hold the city all night long. That is very interesting. That does tend to match this report that's saying that, the casualties on the Russian side have been very difficult. We know that they lost a group of paratroopers. They shot down the plane that had the paratroopers. And I think that based on where they shot it down, maybe that was part of the force that was supposed to go into Kiev, right? So it does seem like the Ukraine, do I think Ukraine's going to be victorious and they're going to be able to beat Russia by themselves? Oh no. No. I can't imagine that scenario. Now, if the UN steps up, if the US steps in, if UK gives, air power, any of those, then I say, okay, maybe. I think, but I just can't believe that. I could be wrong. I'm not a big military expert, not by a long shot. The only interest I have is just as a citizen of the world, But this is fairly interesting that they are struggling. Now, don't forget what I said. All of the troops that Putin committed to this battle were stationed along the border of Ukraine. He has sent in 1/3 of his available troops. So even if they have taken a toll, even if they have had more loss of life than they anticipated, he's still got 2 fresh armies sitting, waiting for the order to walk in. The Ukrainians are limited. They're not even sending in the UN helpers. So it's very sad. But they are making a stand, they are making a stand. So according to the Ukrainian parliamentary telegram channel, the Ukrainian military has killed over 3,000 Russian troops and they've captured 200. An advisor to Zelenskyy says this shows that the Ukraine has not just survived, but that the Ukraine is winning. Now you may say, why, how is that even remotely possible that the Ukraine could have the ability to, quotation marks, win against Russia? Okay, well, I think it's because the UN, the United States, has for years has been fortifying what would essentially be like an Iron Curtain defense, right? It's a defensive weapon, meaning that when Russia flies over and they try to drop bombs, then the defense system that was given to them by the US and EU, that defense system is working, that it's protecting them from the Russian bombs. I think that was probably the first line, that was the first order of business, was to take out the defensive anti-aircraft system and to take out the airports. I think that was the first to gain dominance in the sky. And I just don't think they've been able to do that because of the sophistication of the anti-aircraft system, right? So we'll see what happens. I mean, they've lost a lot. They've had multiple helicopters go down. They've lost fighter jets. Like I said, they lost a whole plane full of paratroopers, which would have been like their Navy SEALs, or maybe not the SEALs, but the Marines, right? The first in on the ground. So it is very. I'm a bit surprised, really. Because we always think of Russia as being one of the big guys, one of the big booger bears of the planet. But they say the U.S. is the same. So I know there's propaganda. So what do you guys think about this report that Putin, as of today, that Putin's military is drafting surgeons, medical doctors, paramedics, and basically saying you're going to fight for the motherland? I saw a shocking video of a Russian target flatten a civilian car. Apparently the driver survived. Oh my, I don't know how the driver survived, Sammy Sparrow. That car was like a pancake. And it was weird too, wasn't it? Because the tank was kind of like all over the place. I mean, was he playing chicken with the person driving the car? I don't know, but it's a scary piece of footage. Candace Bly just posted a short video of some kids. Yeah, I have been seeing that. I'm sure they can volunteer, but they're not drafting. No, they're drafting them, Diamond. They're telling them that they are going to fight for their country. And of course, a surgeon is not going to get a weapon and fight. What they mean is you're gonna tend to the medical needs of our soldiers. So the people have said one or the other. Either he's thinking this is going to be a long drawn out war with high casualties on both sides, or he's up to no good and he's planning something terrible. Yeah. Okay. Miss Catherine says, as in drunk. Oh, you are, Catherine? Well, it's Saturday, Catherine. Just slow down, have something to eat, put a little caffeine in your body. All right. That is so loud. I don't know if you guys can hear that, but it is super loud. I'm going to cut that sound off there. And I think I'll change back to this tab here. Okay. I haven't heard anything about it, and I am in Russia. Do you read Russian? Oh, the driver was drunk. He was having a bit of vodka, having a little bit of Russian vodka. If Russian troops invade Poland, NATO will call. No. That is the line in the sand, I believe, Lady of Angels. Poland and the Baltic states, he goes in, then we're done. It will be World War III. She will get involved. It will be very difficult to extricate out of that type of scenario. Hey, Floor, how are you? I wouldn't be surprised at all if medical professionals are going to be volunteered, quotation marks, for the country. Diamond, do you read Russian? Yes, you read. Okay, hold on. Let me put it up. Hold on. Because I got it. And you can help us see what this says, okay? Just 1 second. Okay, let me make it just a bit bigger for you so you can see it better. Okay, it starts up here at the top. I'm assuming that's just your, regular military. I see Moscow, just a regular letterhead, right? What's the title? I'm so proud of our community that we have someone with us that reads Russian and lives in Russia, and it's interesting. It's such a global community, literally, isn't it? Zelda, I watched your videos this morning with your psychotic scammer. I saw your little dog getting under the covers. Yeah, but I don't think Putin cares about the West. His alignment is with China and South America. I mean, I guess technically South America is the West, but it's like, okay, so this is a document from the Russian Medical Federation. Okay, let me Scroll down so you can see more. Okay. And you can paraphrase. You don't have to type every word in English. Just kind of give us an idea. Is this an order? Is this a request? Are they only asking for certain types of people? Are they putting a time limit? It's a 2-page document. Humor helps me cope with pain. The next scammer said he is sending a glitter bomb. I've heard a lot of people talking about glitter bombs, and they're supposed to be festive. I don't think they're supposed to be mean. Russia is shutting down all media for their people. There'll be no internet. Does that mean we're going to lose our diamond, Pa? Das vidanya. That's all I know to say. Das vidanya. Yes, maybe a very bad reaction to the Botox. Okay, it's asking for any medic that wants to volunteer for pay. Okay. Let me go one more. Where's my second page? Damn it. Hold on. Damn it, Janet. I'm all messed up. Okay. Here's the second page right here. Okay, what is that? And Diamond Paw says, no, she will not lose internet. So you must not be in Russia right now. Maybe you're in the Baltics. I work for the Western States infrastructure, and we are on high alert. Oh, my God. Be careful, Lady of Angels. This is so pointless. This is so unnecessary for that crazy man to act this way. Russia is shutting down. Thank you, One Eye Open. Out of face, jaw, hands are swollen. He's not looking well. Are you talking about Putin? Who's not looking well? Oh, diamonds in St. Petersburg. So, that is one place I would absolutely love to be able to visit. It's so beautiful. It's a fill-out sheet with name, profession, and phone number. And then what is that on the left-hand side? Like all the numbered bits? See, it goes down to 17. Are those areas of specialty? Martin. Martin, I'm going to be talking about Barry Morphew or Suzanne Morphew tonight. Okay, so specialties. Okay. Well, it is very interesting, isn't it? What's unfolding? Let me see if I see anything else of interest on the Twitter. Says Russian medical institutions have been ordered by the health ministry to send a list no later than 6 o'clock, which was 90 minutes ago, to Deputy Health Minister of medical specialists and workers indicating their full name, place of work, positions, and contract details. Document makes it clear the medics will be deployed with reimbursement of travel and accommodation expenses, as well as payment of labor. Clearly preparing for a major medical event where doctors have to be drafted from across the country. Doctors were gathered together yesterday and told to get ready. Today, the document from the Russian health ministry arrived. I'm told this is highly unusual and almost unprecedented. Ukrainian military official has told me the document could indicate that medics are being drafted to assist with casualties from Russia's invasion in Ukraine. The official said one reading of the document is that Russia did not expect a level of resistance from Ukraine. This would tally with reports from senior U.S. defense officials who said there is greater resistance by the Ukrainians than the Russians had expected. Russia is not moving on Kiev as fast as they had anticipated, and Russia may have lost some of their momentum. Russia is preparing for an event with mass casualties. Okay, now we got another thing. Document does not refer to Ukraine and references saving the lives in Russia. I have asked Russian officials if it is true Russia is preparing for a mass casualty event and if this is because Russia has met more resistance than anticipated, and I'm waiting for my response. Ukrainian military official told me they think the document clearly demonstrates Russians did not expect to face this level of resistance. They wanted to make a blitzkrieg operation and should have finished it by now, but they are still far from achieving their goals. This is crazy. Expressing concern, the Ukrainian military official told me one interpretation of the document issued to medical organizations by the Russian Ministry of Health could be that Putin has the intention to go until the end, despite huge losses of personnel. Despite the strength of international sanctions, there's concern that they will not deter President Putin from invading Ukraine. Preparations by Russia to recruit medical staff are being interpreted as a sign that the conflict will be very bloody. Update 1 hour ago. 2 Russian doctors have confirmed that they have seen a copy of the document. Indicates that Russia is preparing for a mass casualty event and is asking medics for trauma, heart, and face surgeons. Poland endorses an express path for Ukraine's European Union membership. Oh, wow. Let me see if she's added anything else. No. You can see my feed is full of discussion about the Morphew case. I have news from an insider in Ukraine confirming this. It is huge. We'll have it in a minute or two. Huh. I hate these kinds of this is somebody named Jesse Kelly. There is no bigger story in the world than Western governments turning against their own people. The sinking of the Titanic. Soon we will get a casualty toll. What? Ukrainian Ministry of Defense is confirming that the garrison on Snake Island is alive and has surrendered to Russian troops. Yesterday they were saying it was all destroyed and everybody died. Well, I don't see any breaking news from Jesse Kelly, whoever he is. He's just trying to get people to look at his story. Okay, I don't see anything there. Do y'all? That doesn't look very interesting at all. Okay. President Zelenskyy, in response to the US's request that he evacuate Kiev, I need ammunition, not a ride. I ain't never been to Ukraine and I would go fight for this dude. Huh, interesting. Putin calls upon Ukrainian people to rise above their abusive government. There's only one truth, light versus dark. The world is watching. What do you guys think about the way he looks? I think he looks healthy and rested. Miss Miss Haight says he looks drugged. Okay, so we're all over the place. Some people think he looks bloated and swollen. A couple of people said that. Some people think he's on drugs. He's trying to topple drug addicts and neo-Nazis that are in power in the Ukraine. Let's see what he's saying. Um, I am once again addressing Ukrainian army. Do not let the neo-Nazis use your children, your wives, and the elderly as human shields. Take the power into your own hands. It seems that it will be easier to reach an agreement with you than with the group of drug addicts and neo-Nazis that established in Kyiv and has taken the Ukrainian people hostage. Okay. Russian, the old school Russian propaganda stuff. All right. I don't see anything new. Let's see. 150,000 people have fled Ukraine. Germany, okay, the United States, Germany, Czech Republic, Netherlands, and Portugal all have announced individually they will send military aid to the Ukraine. UK Defense Ministry said British forces have arrived in Eastern Europe to reinforce NATO's Eastern Front. So they're not going into Ukraine. The city of Melitopol is not in Russian hands, according to the British. That looks like a lot of damage, doesn't it? All right. There you have it. Okay. They are drawing a mustache on Putin to make him look like Hitler. Yeah, but he's the one that's calling them the Nazis. It's all very confusing. Putin is a dictator. He's cold-blooded, calculated, psychopathic, but he is acting in the interest of the Russian Federation. He is well loved by the Russian people. He has like a 70% approval rating. He has done a good job with their economy, jobs, that kind of thing. He is facing a lot of internal opposition from this invasion into the Ukraine. There are many European citizens that are not happy about this, and they look at the citizens of the Ukraine as being their brothers and sisters, that they're all Russians, basically. So he is well loved. He's got a great deal of support, but there are also people now in the country that are mad that he did this. So it's very confusing, and it is so complicated. It's hard to say. It's just hard. It's very, very confusing. That rating came from his rich friends. Well, okay, so Diamond Paw is Russian, and she lives somewhere in the great country of Russia. Diamond Paw, what do you think about Putin being supported by the citizens? Do you think his approval rating, are people angry with him about what he's doing in the Ukraine? What do you think? The Ukrainians are singing their national anthem in the bomb shelters. Yeah, yeah. Hi, Donna. His rating is made up, but with the war thing, it's about 50% of approval. That bottom left camera that you're looking at, that's Lviv. Is that how you pronounce that? Lviv, Lviv, Lviv. And that is going toward Poland. So I'm going to assume that these are Ukrainians that are just kind of monitoring the streets, maybe. It's interesting because the other three cities, you don't have people out on the streets like we're seeing in Lviv. Diamond Paw, are y'all still getting updates on your television about what's happening in Ukraine? No, I agree, Donna. All of us little people, just normal citizens, we just want to live our lives. Yeah, we're all very unhappy about what's happening to the people in Ukraine, and the politicians get us into an awful lot of problems. Things that the normal people of each country would never want to be a part of. My family is from Lviv. It used to be called Lvov. Hi, Alexandra. Thank you so much. Alexandra says she's listening and she really doesn't have much to say other than to say bless all of the soldiers. Thank you so much, Alexandra. Well, I mean, you can call them separatists, you can call them neo-Nazis, you can call them invaders. You just have to remember everybody thinks they're in the right. People, for the most part, good people don't act doing something that they think is wrong. So, it got to be, if you want to be logical, you have to avoid demonizing a group over another group. The fact of the matter is, with the people in Ukraine, that's their home. That's their home. And the fact of the matter is that Putin has been asking the EU and the United States to back off for a long time. And they've continued to move the weapons closer and closer and closer. Why did the politicians do that? Why didn't they just stay where they were? Why did they start, making them uncomfortable by moving closer? So everybody's got a little hand in what's unfolded, except the people that are citizens that are just trying to live their lives. And they'll be the ones that pay the cost. It's terrible. I was asking why they were calling the Ukrainians Nazis. So it's complicated. What I've been trying to understand. Yeah, thank you so much, Diamond. There's so much info coming in. You never know if it's true or not. Some of the videos that they put out is from the 2014 Ukraine. Exactly. Diamond, they've even found video clips from video games, and they're getting shared around, people saying, oh, I took this video, and they're not. They're from games. So you have to be very careful what you see. You have to be careful that it is what they're claiming that it is. What is the name of that guy that I have been following? Let's see. He's an Australian. He's obviously old military. Let's see if I can find him. If I can't find him right now before I go live later, I'll look for him and put him up so y'all can start following him. He is he's pretty amazing in terms of the amount of digital electronic information that he knows where to find. What is his name? I'm looking. Hold on. Remy. His name is Remy. He's from Australia. Got 500,000 subscribers. He usually does gaming, but since this all started, the games that he does are fighter, like wartime games. When this started, he switched over. He's obviously old military because he has access to databases and stuff that are very interesting. Here we go. I'll put this up to show y'all. He'll be on later on tonight. Okay, so this is Remy. Super interesting to listen to. Don't have any sound, do you? Oh, yeah. And he's a fan of the cursey words. But he doesn't put that information out when he gets something that's, he's in contact with some of the soldiers and stuff. Yeah, I'm the same, Diamond. Okay, so that is okay. All right, so that's Remy. So if you're interested in the whole Ukrainian thing, he's doing a great job when he's live. Obviously, this is a recording from early this morning, so he'll be back on. He usually gets on maybe around 9 o'clock Central Time. Okay. Hey, Brent Montgomery, how are you? These crematoriums they are setting up are disturbing. Are they wanting to hide war atrocities like the use of nerve gas agents or use of laser or other terrible things? Well, I addressed that at the beginning of this video, Brent, and I would agree with you. This whole crematorium thing is curious, and there's not much consensus from the journalists and the analysts that are posting online, they're all kind of all over the place as to why the Russian troops are bringing these small crematoriums, because the crematoriums can get rid of a lot of bodies in a short period of time. So you got to ask yourself, what's the point? Is it to hide the Ukrainian deaths, the citizens? Is it to hide the number of Russian casualties? Or is it something altogether different? We just don't know. All right. He's been talking about for years. I think I found him last time around 2014. All right. Okay. His name is Remy, Rimmy. I saw one picture of the crematorium, which wasn't a crematorium. Yeah, I think they're using that word because what else do you call it? Right? It is a piece of equipment, machinery that can be transported, that burns at a very high temperature, and so they can dispose of many bodies in a very fast period of time. They take some hours to get to the correct temperature, and it would likely be one at a time. One at a time? Are you sure? That wasn't what I was reading yesterday. Let's see. Now, this article says might send mobile crematoriums. Russian mothers say their sons were tricked into joining. Weird, isn't it? But my question is, how do they know this? Like, how did they know that? Yeah, but see, there's always so much propaganda. It used to be the news, when they reported something, it was verified. They would give you just the facts. It is not like that anymore. It's the majority of it is a bunch of YouTube commentators. They just make a good salary and wear pretty clothes. But they're not worried about giving you fact. Like, who said that this is to hide evidence? Give us something that's fact instead of what you think it could be for, right? It's all rumor and conjecture. I agree, critters. My question is where they got the stupid picture. Putin wouldn't do that. Well, and what's the utility, right? What's the utility of such? Weird. It's very weird. I'm not sure I believe all that. I'm going to go on the record now and say that looks like hogwash to me. Okay. All right, everybody. Listen, thank you for spending time with me and kind of going through this. I think it's important that the Ukraine has been able to hold ground overnight. And I think it is interesting that Putin is taking steps to round up medical professionals. And we don't know what that means. So I'm not going to repeat a bunch of different people saying a bunch of different things. But if I find something that it sounds fairly rational and seems to match the stories, then I'll definitely put it back up. Okay. I'm going to be offline for several hours because I've got some company coming. But later on tonight, I want to talk about Suzanne Morphew and the specials where they're basically, saying that old Barry is innocent and that there is explanation for all the different pieces of fact that are in the arrest affidavit. I disagree and we'll move from there. But I think it's the work of the defense. And I think that they're intentionally getting the story from Barry's side, getting the story out online and on the television airways, because they're about to send out 1,000 jury pool notices. And they've got right now, while they can still influence the jury pool, they want that messaging out there. Barry's a good guy. The evidence doesn't really say what you think it says. Let me give you all the things it could say. So what you saw from those two specials was things that a judge never would have allowed into a court of law. So they're doing it now through television and internet to try to get the jury on their side, basically. There are civilians fighting. That is correct, Black Rose. Yesterday, they gave away 18,000 guns to civilians that wanted to fight. All right. And some are saying that Putin that he looks afraid. I'm not saying that, but some have said that. So I don't know. All right, people. I'll be back later on this evening. We'll have us a long conversation about the old bear. Talk to you then.